I'm gonna do a bunch of previews of what's to come for 2019. I ain't got no title for this one, my rest is constantly disturbed by either the sound of sirens or rapid gunshots. Consistent pops, someone drops. The homicide rate increases, and that's when the fun stops. Because day before yesterday, the parents of tonight's victim told organizers to leave them alone when they was just striving to put together a Stop the Violence march. I know it's harsh, but it hurts when it hits home because in their eyes, their son was an angel, a straight A student that didn't play the streets much. But what they didn't know is that during the time he did play the streets, he did enough in his pursuit of that which he would never touch. His lust for acceptance amongst his peers led him to overcome his fears and put his trust in the street. Beef led the gunplay for the first time. That's when he lost his mind and fell in love with busting the heat. No more being discreet. It was shoot on sight from dusk till dawn, especially during broad daylight, because to keep the spray tight took pinpoint accuracy, point blank range, the only way to spray right. But just like any, that's it for that piece right there. That's another piece that I'm working on. It's been nearly a year and a half. It's been nearly a year and a half since I started blazing the path to becoming a productive citizen. Distilling the hype surrounding negative stereotypes, living my life right in the world that I don't fit in. But I refuse to give in though, because I know and understand exactly what my future holds. It's molded in stone and sold correctly. So with or without me here, it still unfolds. This in no way means that I reached my apex, because what's next will definitely suppress that notion. There is indeed a method to my madness, expressed through my devotion and controlling my energy and motion. The oceans of determination that stimulate and sustain my rate of acceleration keeps me placed in a state of constant elevation, causing the materialization of my thoughts in the physical creation. Once I envision them, I start living them. And through this walk and talk, I start to see the influence of my actions, which I then apply parallel very well in unison with all facets of life that I self-lord and master. There's often disaster when conflicting thoughts arise, possessing the potency to influence and change many lives. That one right there is the end of that one too. Alright, another one I'm working on. After so many years of dealing with hard heads day after day, it suffice to say that I'm institutionalized. I used to take offense to being called the likeness as such, until I learned to trust and appreciate my ability to reason and rationalize. So as my conceptualization of institutionalization began taking on a life of its own, I aborted the negative connotations, which hindered and deterred further perpetuation of the unclean, submissive way of thinking and still doing childhood indoctrination. From hope, faith, and belief in the mystery God to that tyranny of the cheap theory, which really became more complicated to grasp the more I asked about the Holy Trinity, and the questions were never answered clearly. Thus, as I continue to explore the corridors of history, the more the mystery unraveled, to reveal the torturous 9,000-mile journey that we were forced to travel, just to land on a foreign continent to be dispersed like gravel, divided and conquered, pitted against one another, brother against brother. Fathers were forced to rot, savages ravaged their women, and any offspring resulting from this fling was taken from its mother and placed on another plantation to be raised by a slave already in total submission. And to continue the fruition of this crucial fiction, the divinity of our true identity was crossed out and replaced with this thing called religion, where we were taught to worship a fictitious character who just so happens to bear the exact same name of the warship that carried us forcefully from our native continent to foreign land formerly belonging to the Indian, one of the true native of the Americans. Those who rebelled fell at the hands of their captors, who to prevent future disasters and instill fear in the masses plastered in clear view the mutilated bodies of those they clashed with. Over time, this fear was embedded in the genetics and passed down for generations to come. Nation became race, so we began to run in all different directions, splitting the gene, causing division into one. Now, the percentage of the division wasn't even a smidgen of half and half because a class of bloodsuckers arose to compose a plan to profit off making the masses clash by amplifying the subtle differences that make us unique in our individuality, causing a shift in the mentality leading to the distortion of the once clear visions of reality. Let that sink in.
That's peace.
Yeah, I got one. A heart that's never been broken, unfortunately, is a heart that's never been open to love in its many marvelous facets of expression. A closed heart just goes on hoping to one day experience love and how it really feels, the passionate thrills. You know that chill that sent up your spine, the unmeasurable, pleasurable tears that sometimes spill. You know that tingling sensation that takes place when engaged in intimate conversation, contemplation for one's ways and actions, to show forth and prove the utmost consideration for another person other than yourself. This is true wealth beyond measure. And since understanding is indeed the best part, then understanding love itself has to be a treasure, filled with gems, jewels, and stones of unimaginable pleasure and delight, enough to excite even the most disciplined man or woman. And some it even ignites fright, the fear of emotional attachment, the responsibility of caring for another, doing away with the me mentality to focus on sharing myself and I with another. It's simple human nature, yet many of us do so much to suppress it, unaware and blinded by all the many blessings that actually exist and persist within its essence. The absence of physical contact does not necessarily make love unattainable. To some, it's nearly unexplainable. But any life stimulating in the mental is surely sustainable. Through the unification of mind and body, a statement that is rarely comprehended means that your actions coincide with your thoughts so symmetrically as if they're blended to form one unprecedented luminescent, vibrant color, pigment, or hue. Very few bask in the glory of this beautification. But for those men and women who do, life takes on a whole new meaning. You start seeing differently, but through the same set of eyes, the vibrant wavelengths and patterns, the synchronization of so many different vibes. The spoken word becomes a fulcrum, a vehicle or vessel of sorts that conveys the most passionately intimate, soothing, comforting, and elaborate thoughts. Subtle gestures now reflect the various ways that two beautiful minds connect to form a beautiful bond that is so strong, only one who has truly loved can detect. It's wishful thinking to think that love will come when it's not really love that you seek. It's like claiming to be righteous when you know it ain't right what you do and what you speak. One must open up their heart and at least consider taking part in such a beautiful union. Think about it. Just the thought alone is a start. But if one continues to deny the existence of such a consistently creative force, constantly denying that powerful inner voice that lets you know that you actually have a choice, and then to each his own. What's known is that love definitely brings out the best in us. So how you choose to live your life is on you. Just please don't allow it to affect the rest of us. And I just made sense of this thing called love.
Oh,